Hey, look, YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Rams fan YT. Seeming no one has got back to me, I have made the executive decision to have both history of Wimbledon and AFC Wimbledon. Hope that's what you want, but shame if you're not, because that's what we've got. But thank you very much for all that sponsored me. You may notice I'm wearing the Upbeat Communities t-shirt. I did, in fact, finish the 10K in a respectable 50 minutes. I think that's a very quick time. And we've raised together about, I think it's near enough £400 approximately. There's 200 and something on we're just giving at the moment, and I've got all the cash I've been given as well to add onto that. So let's start with the first club in Wimbledon area, Wimbledon FC. Well, they're actually formed as Wimbledon Old Central Football Club back in 1889, taking its name from the Old Central School on Wimbledon Common, where players had been pupils. The club's first match was a 1-0 victory over Westminster, and it only took 7 years for success to come to Wimbledon, as the club won both the Clapham League and the Herald League in 1895-96. Wimbledon won the Clapham League again in 1900 and 1901, as well as 2 minor trophies. A meeting was convened on the 1st of May 1905, and the decision was taken to drop Old Central from the club's name. The club became Wimbledon Football Club, and under its new name, the club won the South London Charity Cup the same year. However, excessive debts caused the club to fold in 1910. The club was restarted a year later under the name Wimbledon Borough, though Borough was dropped from the team's name after barely a year. The club continued to play on Wimbledon Common and at various other locations in the Wimbledon area until 1912, when the side settled at Plough Lane. Wimbledon joined the Athenian League for the 1919-1920 season, and in the second season in its new division, it finished as runners-up. The club then joined the Isthmian League, winning 4 Isthmian League titles during the 1930s, and reaching the FA Amateur Cup final in 1934-35. Wimbledon began to prosper. The club reached another FA Amateur Cup final in 1946-47, and finished as runners-up in the league twice over the next few seasons. Wimbledon won the Isthmian League for a 5th time in 1958-59, before starting a period of domination that saw 3 successive championships in 1961-62, 1962-63, and 1963-64. Wimbledon also lifted the FA Amateur Cup in 1962-63, beating Sutton United 4-2. The club's all-time top goal scorer, Eddie Reynolds, scored all 4 Wimbledon goals with his head, and in doing so became the only player to have headed in all 4 of his side's goal in a Wembley match. As of 2012, this is still a unique feat, and I think it's still a unique feat today. Following this success, or these successes rather, the decision was taken to turn professional for the 1964-65 season, and to enter the Southern League. Wimbledon had continued success in their new league, finishing as runners-up at the first attempt. Wimbledon became nationally famous during an FA Cup run during the 1974-75 season, entering the competition at the first qualifying round. Wimbledon saw off first Bracknell Town, then Maidenhead United, Wokingham Town, Guildford and Dorking United, Bath City, and Kettering Town to find themselves in the 3rd round popper. They then became the first non-league team of that century to be a first division side away from home by defeating Burnley at Turf Moor. In the 4th round, the good form continued, as the team held the reigning 4th Division champions Leeds United to a 0-0 draw at Elland Road. Goalkeeper Dickie Guy saved a penalty from Peter Lorimer to earn a replay, which was narrowly lost only 1-0 by an own goal in front of over 40,000 spectators at Selhurst Park. After winning the Southern League 3 times running, from 1974-75 to 1976-77, Wimbledon were elected to the Football League in place of Workington for the 1977-78 season. The 1977-78 season was a satisfactory Football League debut for Wimbledon, who finished 13th in the 4th Division. Alan Batsford had resigned as manager on the 2nd of January 1978 to be succeeded by Dario Grady, who guided the club to promotion in 1978-79. Wimbledon's first stay in the third division was not a successful one. The team struggled and were relegated in bottom place, winning just 10 games all season. Following relegation, relocation to Milton Keynes was considered, with chairman Reynolds entered talks with the Milton Keynes Development Corporation about the possibility of moving the club to the new town, but the plan was never executed. But foreshadowing occurs, we all know that they eventually did. Still in South London, 1980-81, saw Wimbledon regain the third division status at the first attempt. At the end of an eventful season which saw chairman Ron Nodes walk out of the club to take over Crystal Palace, taking manager Dario Grady to Selhurst Park with him. At Plough Lane, assistant manager Dave Bassett was promoted to manager. Under Bassett, Wimbledon were relegated in 22nd place. Just before the survival battle was lost, injured defender Dave Clement committed suicide. Very sad and depressing thing that is. Wimbledon once again regained third division status at the first time of asking, triumphing as fourth division champions in 1982-83. And in the next season, the Wimbledon players continued to excel as they achieved a second promotion to the second division after finishing runners-up with 97 league goals. 1984-85 was Wimbledon's first season in the second division, and everyone at the club was prepared for long and hard struggle to preserve this status. A 12th place finish was more than satisfactory for a club that was playing at this level for the first time. The next year started well for Wimbledon, as Middlesbrough were defeated 3-0 on the opening day of the season. The team was looking like a contender for promotion, and promotion in third place was sealed on the final day of the season with an away victory at Huddersfield Town. Thus, Wimbledon had reached the first division, only 4 years after playing in the fourth division, and 9 years after being elected into the Football League. Many observers tipped Wimbledon to go straight back down in 1986-87, but after losing the first game of the season away at Manchester City, Wimbledon won the next 4 games to perch atop the league table on the 1st of September. Wimbledon eventually finished 6th before Dave Bassett moved on to Watford. His successor was Bristol Rovers manager Bobby Gould. Dubbed the Crazy Gang because of the eccentric behaviour of its players, fans and chairman Sam Hammam, the club's greatest moment came in 1988, when very much against expectation, the team won the FA Cup, beating overwhelming favourites Liverpool 1-0 with a goal from Laurie Sanchez. 37,000 Wimbledon fans witnessed captain Dave Beesant become the first goalkeeper to save a penalty in an FA Cup final, stopping John Aldridge's shot. The only downside of his triumph was the fact that the club would not be able to compete in the European Cup Winners' Cup, as the ban on the English teams from the European competition following the Hayslow Stadium disaster was still in operation at this time. Just days after the FA Cup triumph, Wimbledon directors announced plans to build a new all-seater stadium in the club's home borough of Merton. In the season following the FA Cup triumph, Gould steered Wimbledon to secure a 12th place finish in the first division, and in 1989-90 the side finished 8th. Despite these successes, Bobby Gould was replaced by Ray Harford in 1990, who in the same year as Wimbledon's FA Cup triumph had guided Luton Town to victory in the League Cup. Under Harford's management, Warren Barton was purchased for £300,000, while Wimbledon had a strong season in 1990-91, finishing 7th. Nothing came of the plans for a new ground at the end of the 1990-91 season, and the club's board decided that Plough Lane was beyond redevelopment to meet the new FA rule requiring all-seater stadiums. Consequently, the club moved to Selhurst Park before the 1991-92 season, ground sharing with Crystal Palace. Harford suddenly resigned in October 1991 to be replaced by Paul Withy. Withy lasted until just after around the turn of the new year, with Joe Kinnear was promoted from the role of youth team coach, initially taking over as interim manager. After guiding Wimbledon to 13th place in the First Division and booking a place in the inaugural FA Premier League, Keynes got the manager's job on a permanent basis. 1992-93 began as a struggle for Wimbledon. The club were third from bottom on Boxing Day. However, the team recovered well in the new year and finished 12th. The next season was one of Wimbledon's best seasons to date, as the side finished 6th in the FA Premier League and reached the quarter-finals of the League Cup. Wimbledon remained hard to beat in the 1994-95 season, finishing 5th in the league. During the close season, the Dons made their first and only appearance in a UEFA European competition, being required by the FA to enter the Intertoto Cup. However, after fielding in an understrength side containing reserves, youth team players, and unsigned trialists in their group stage games, the club, along with Tottenham Hotspur, were banned from European competition for the following season. Not that it mattered. After losing Barton to Newcastle in 1995-96, it saw them drop to 14th. Wimbledon made a fine start though to the 1996-97 campaign. After losing the first 3 fixtures, the players proceeded to win their next 7 and reach a second place in the FA Premier League. There was delight in early February when they eliminated Manchester United from the FA Cup, and Wimbledon reached both the FA Cup semi-finals and the semi-finals of the League Cup. Wimbledon's last hope of qualifying for European competition now lay with a challenge for a top 5 finish, but the team could only manage 8th. The 1997-98 season looked highly promising for Wimbledon, as late on as Christmas, as the team were regularly in the top 5. However, the side's form in the second half of the season was less impressive, and the club dipped to 15th place in the final table, the lowest finish yet for Wimbledon in the top flight. A similar pattern followed in 1998-99, a good start followed by a slump. As late on as mid-March, the team were on the fringe of a UEFA Cup place. The club record signing of West Ham United striker John Hartson boosted hopes of success for Wimbledon. But a terrible run of form in the final weeks of the season saw the side dip to 16th in the table. Or the final table, rather. Wimbledon again reached the League Cup semi-finals that season, losing to eventual winners Tottenham Hotspur. Joe Kinnear stepped down as manager in June 1999 due to ill health, and was succeeded by Norwegian coach Egil Olsen. Wimbledon reached the quarter-finals of the League Cup, but the team's league form slowly deteriorated during the second half of the season. Olsen left in early May with the club threatened by relegation. Long-serving coach Terry Burton took over. But on the 14th of May 2000, 12 years to the day after the FA Cup win, the side were relegated from the top flight after 14 years, after a 2-0 defeat at Southampton and a 1-0 win for Bradford City over Liverpool. Burton remained manager of Wimbledon for 2 seasons in the second tier, before he was sacked at the end of the 2001-2 season, after the club had narrowly missed out on promotion playoffs 2 seasons in a row. In August 2001, the club announced its intent to relocate to Milton Keynes. Despite oppositions from Wimbledon fans, the Football League and the Football Association, they were given permission to do so on the 28th of May 2002, after a 2-1 vote by the 3-person independent commission appointed by the FA. The approval of a decision to move the club caused supporters who were against the move to found a new club, AFC Wimbledon, to which many Wimbledon fans switched their allegiance. Gates at the new club were over 3,500, compared with 2,500 or less for the relocated club. Goalkeeping coach Stuart Murdoch was promoted to manager, and as attendances plummeted, Murdoch's team finished 10th in the league during the club's last full season at Selhurst Park. Wimbledon entered administration in June 2003 and played their first match in Milton Keynes in September. Although crowds attending the club's games at its new base were bigger than those at Wimbledon, the administrator in charge of the club's financial affairs told any player who could command a transfer fee, and Murdoch's team finished bottom of the league. The club were brought out of administration at the end of the 2003-04 season and subsequently renamed Milton Keynes Dons. However, that is for another day their history, and I will do that later on in this year. We're going to need to go back a bit now. On the 28th of May 2002, the Football Association approved a decision by a three-person arbitration commission, as you heard. They had allowed Wimbledon FC to relocate north to a new town of Milton Keynes in Buckinghamshire. A decision influenced by, among other factors, claims from Wimbledon chairman Charles Koppel that such a move was necessary in order to prevent the club from going bankrupt. The FA forbade any right of appeal against the decision. Although the absence of a ground in Milton Keynes meeting Football League criteria meant the club were unable to physically move for over a year. Major organised protests at the decision continued to be held by Wimbledon's traditional local support, and a boycott of the club's home matches at Selhurst Park meant attendances dwindled immediately. Following the FA's announcement of their decision, a group of Wimbledon supporters, led by Chris Stewart and fellow founding members Mark Jones and Trevor Williams, met in the Fox and Grapes pub on Wimbledon Common. The plan was to be done next as part of the protest. It was agreed that as there was no right of appeal, the only option was to start the club again from scratch. On the 30th of May 2002, the idea was put forward in a Wimbledon Independent Supporters Association meeting to create a new community-based club named AFC Wimbledon, and an appeal for funds was launched. On the 13th of June 2002, a new manager, a playing strip, and a badge based on that of the original Wimbledon FC, and a stadium were unveiled to fans and the media at the packed-out Wimbledon Community Centre. In order to assemble a competitive team at very short notice, AFC Wimbledon held player trials on the 29th of June 2002 on Wimbledon Common, open to any unattached player who felt it was good enough to try out for the team. The event attracted 230 hopeful players, from whom the club's squad for their inaugural season was eventually chosen. In the 2002-03 season, AFC Wimbledon competed in the Combined Counties League Premier Division, under the management of former Wimbledon FC player Terry Eames, who was appointed on the 13th of June 2002. Their first ever game, a pre-season friendly against Sutton United on the 10th of July 2002, resulted in a 4-0 loss in front of a crowd of 4,657. At the end of their debut season, AFC Wimbledon finished third in the league and narrowly failed to win promotion to the Isthmian League First Division, despite a strong end to the season that involved winning their final 11 league fixtures. In 2003-04, AFC Wimbledon won their first 21 league games before a 2-2 draw against Sandhurst Town on the 10th of January 2004, giving them 32 consecutive wins in league games over 2 seasons. Manager Terry Eames was suspended on the 13th of February 2004 and sacked 5 days later on the grounds of gross misconduct, after evidence was produced which showed him to have firstly made unauthorised and untrue representations to a number of coaching staff. Secondly, that he had falsely informed members of the coaching staff that the club had decided not to support his plans for youth football and required him to make immediately budgetary cutbacks. And thirdly, that he dispensed with the services of the members of the coaching staff, citing untrue reasons. Assistant manager Nick English took charge with immediate effect. The team went on to finish as champions of Combined Counties League with an unbeaten record for the season of 42 wins and 4 draws. AFC Wimbledon also won the league's Premier Challenge Cup after beating North Greenford United 4-1 in the final on the 30th of April 2004, completing a double for the season. Dave Anderson was appointed as new manager on the 11th of May 2004. Under his leadership, AFC Wimbledon took their good form into the 2004-05 season, during which they competed in the Isthmian League First Division. They remained top of the division for the duration of the season and were convincing title winners, sealing promotion to the league's Premier Division. The Dons secured another double by defeating Walton and Hersham 2-1 in the final of the Surrey Senior Cup on the 3rd of May 2005. Over the course of the season, Wimbledon set a new record for the longest run of unbeaten league games at any level of senior football in the United Kingdom. The team remained unbeaten for 78 league matches between the 22nd of February 2003, which was a 2-0 defeat at home to Withdean 2000, and on the 4th of December 2004, a 2-0 defeat at Cray Wanderers. The 2005-06 season proved far more competitive than previous seasons, as after winning their first few games, AFC Wimbledon found themselves struggling to remain in the playoff places. After fluctuating form, they eventually reached the playoffs after a 1-0 win against Anderson's former club, Hendon, on the 22nd of April 2006. However, a 2-1 defeat at Fisher Athletic on the 2nd of May 2006 prevented the club from achieving 3 back-to-back promotions. The Dons once again reached the final of the Surrey Senior Cup, however this time they were narrowly defeated 1-0 by Kingstonian in a fiercely contested derby. Much of the 2006-07 season was overshadowed by the threat of a proposed 18-point deduction by the FA for the club's fielding of Jermaine Darlington, who it transpired had not been registered correctly by the club and therefore played in 3 games whilst officially ineligible. However, this punishment was eventually reduced to a 3-point deduction and a £400 fine on appeal, after the FA finally acknowledged that the club had simply made an administrative error. The Darlington affair also resulted in the expulsion from the Surrey Senior Cup and the FA Trophy that year. Although AFC Wimbledon did enough to qualify for the players, they once again missed out on promotion. This time as a result of losing 1-0 to Bromley in the playoff semi-final on the 1st of May 2007. Manager Dave Anderson subsequently left the club by mutual consent on the 2nd of May 2007. Terry Brown was appointed as the new AFC Wimbledon manager on the 15th of May 2007. During 2007-08, he led the club to promotion to the Conference South in his first season in charge, a feat which predecessor Dave Anderson had proved unable to achieve, having lost 2 consecutive playoff final opportunities in the previous 2 rounds. The Dons made steady progress throughout the season, qualifying for the playoffs after finishing 3rd in the league. AFC Wimbledon beat AFC Hornchurch 3-1 in the playoff semi-final on the 29th of April 2008, and went on to triumph 2-1 over Staines Town in the playoff final on the 3rd of May 2008. AFC Wimbledon spent most of the 2008-09 season near the top of the league table, eventually finishing as champions and earning promotion to the Conference Premier after defeating St Albans City 3-0 on the 25th of April 2009. The match set an attendance record of 4,722 for Kingsmeadow Stadium, which at that time was full capacity. The 2009-10 season was the club's first in the Conference Premier. Overall, the Dons finished 8th, 14 points short of the playoff zone. This was the first season in which the club had failed to make the top 5 in the league table. In 2010-11, the AFC Wimbledon finished as runners-up of the Conference Premier, qualifying for the playoffs. The Dons faced 5th place Fleetwood Town in the playoff semi-finals. Then they went on to thrash 8-1 on aggregate. This aggregate scoreline set a record as the largest winning margin recorded since the Conference Premier League first introduced the playoff system at the beginning of the 2002-03 season. In the playoff final of the City of Manchester Stadium on the 21st of May 2011, in front of a crowd of 18,195, AFC Wimbledon beat Luton Town 4-3 in a penalty shootout, after the match had ended 0-0 in extra time. The victory resulted in promotion to the Football League and represented the club's 5th promotion in 9 years. The club's achievement of attaining league status after just 9 seasons of existence is considered to be one of the fastest ascents for a new club since automatic promotion for Football League first commenced in the 1980s. AFC Wimbledon also holds the record for being the first club to be formed in the 21st century to make it into the Football League, making them the youngest club in the Football League by some distance. The 2011-12 season saw AFC Wimbledon's promotion to League 2. The team started the season well, winning 7 of their first 12 matches, but failed to keep the momentum going and had a poor run, eventually finishing the season around 16th, 10 points clear of relegation zone. The 2012-13 campaign marked the 10th anniversary of AFC Wimbledon's inaugural season. After an abysmal start to the season, Manager Terry Brown was sacked on the 19th of September 2012, along with assistant manager Stuart Cash, with AFC at Wimbledon sitting just above relegation zone. First team coach Simon Bassey took over as caretaker manager, with immediate effect. Bassey was in charge for just 4 matches, however, before former Wimbledon player Neil Ardley was appointed as Terry Brown's permanent replacement on the 10th of October 2012, naming former Watford and Cardiff City teammate Neil Cox as his assistant manager. On the 2nd of December 2012, AFC Wimbledon faced Milton Keynes Dons in the second round of the FA Cup, in the first ever meeting between the two sides, following the relocation of Wimbledon FC to Milton Keynes, with a match ending as a 2-1 defeat for AFC Wimbledon. The Dons secured their Football League status on the final day of the 2012-13 season, despite having started the day in the relegation zone by beating Fleetwood Town 2-1 at Kings Meadow on the 27th of April 2013. In the 2013-14 season, a match involving AFC Wimbledon was at the centre of a failed match-fixing plot. Shortly after the club's 1-0 loss against Dagenham and Redbridge on the 26th of November 2013, businessman Krishna Gainshan and Chana Sankaran and 3 Whitehawk players Michael Boateng, Moses Swabu and Hakeem Adelakun were charged with conspiracy to commit bribery over the failed plot to fix the game. Ganeshan, Sankaran and Boateng were convicted. The club had a disappointing season overall, only managing to replicate the 20th place league finish of the season before, after the club would dock 3 points for the ineligible filing of Jake Nicholson, after failing to obtain international clearance for him after he joined from Scottish Championship side Greenock Morton on the 19th of February 2014. The 2014-15 season saw AFC Wimbledon face Milton Keynes Dons once again in a competitive fixture on the 12th of August 2014. In the first round of the Football League Cup, with MK Dons eventually winning the match 3-1. The two sides met once again on the 7th of October 2014, with AFC Wimbledon achieving a first 3-2 win over their rivals in the second round of the Football League Trophy, following a late goal from Adebayo Akinfenwa. The Dons also reached the FA Cup third round for the first time in their history on the 5th of January 2015, eventually succumbing 2-1 to Liverpool, with Steven Gerrard scoring both goals. AFC Wimbledon finished the season in a mediocre 15th place, after a disappointing run of form saw them finish the season without a win in their last 8 league fixtures. The 2015-16 season was AFC Wimbledon's 5th consecutive season in League Two. Despite getting the season off to a mediocre start, the Dons finished the season strongly, after winning 7 out of their last 10 league matches to ensure the club will confirm their highest ever League Two finish of 7th place, and a qualification to the 2016 Football League playoffs. A record home attendance of 4,870 turned out to see AFC Wimbledon beat Accrington Stanley 1-0 in the first leg of the playoff semi-final on the 14th of May 2016. Exactly 28 years to the day since the original Wimbledon won the 1988 FA Cup final against Liverpool. Following a dramatic extra-time winner from academy product Tom Breer, the goal ultimately proved to be the difference between the two sides, as AFC at Wimbledon went on to win 3-2 on aggregate after a 2-2 draw in the reverse fixture. This win earned them place in the playoff final at Wembley Stadium against Plymouth Argyle. The fixture was scheduled for the 30th of May 2016, exactly 14 years to the day since the club's foundation. AFC Wimbledon ultimately triumphed 2-0 on the day in front of a crowd of 57,956. The 2016-17 season saw AFC Wimbledon compete in League One for the first time in their history. They remained unbeaten in the South London Derby fixtures, recording 2 draws against Millwall, a home draw against Charlton Athletic, and a 2-1 away win at the Valley on the 17th of September 2016. Promotion also placed AFC Wimbledon in the same division as Milton Keynes Dons, who had simultaneously been relegated from the Championship. This ensured the club would face Milton Keynes Dons for the first time at Kings Meadow, which they did on the 14th of March 2017, going on to triumph 2-0. The club ultimately finished 15th in the league after a disappointing slump saw them win just 5 out of their last 22 league matches between January and April. AFC Wimbledon made an equally slow start to the 2017-18 campaign, managing just 5 wins in their first 20 league matches between August and December. On the 3rd of December 2017, the club recorded a 3-1 win over South London derby rivals Charlton Athletic in the second round of the FA Cup. The club was subsequently rewarded by being drawn away against Tottenham Hotspur in the third round, with a match being played at Wembley Stadium on the 7th of January 2018. On the 13th of December 2017, the club received a further boost after being granted permission to begin work constructing a new 9,300-seat stadium, which could be expanded to hold up to 20,000 in the future, on the site of Wimbledon's Greyhound Stadium. The new ground will only be 250 yards or 230 metres away from the original Plough Lane, which they played at from 1912 to 1998. Or 1991, sorry. I think it was demolished in 1998. The club was eventually able to secure another season in League One with a draw in their penultimate game, meaning that for the first time AFC Wimbledon will be playing in a higher division than Milton Keynes Dons, who were relegated that season. AFC Wimbledon saw a disastrous start to the 2018-19 season, losing 12 of their first 17 league matches. Manager Neil Ardley departed the club by mutual agreement on the 12th of November 2018 after a tenure of 6 years, 1 month and 2 days, making him the longest serving manager to date. One bright spot in their season was the club's first ever appearance in the FA Cup 5th round after beating West Ham United 4-2 in the 2018-19 FA Cup. On the 4th of December 2018, Glyn Hodges joined Wally Downes as AFC Wimbledon's assistant manager. After being rooted to the bottom of the table for most of the 2019, they lost only one of their last 12 league games to lift them out of the relegation zone, ultimately staying up on goal difference on the last day of the season after a 0-0 draw with already relegated Bradford City. On the 25th of September 2019, Glyn Hodges took over the management of the first team on a temporary basis following the suspension of Wally Downes after being charged by the FA for betting misconduct. The club's youth coach, Mark Robinson, replaced Hodges on the 30th of January 2021 after a poor run of results. Robinson turned the season around and the club avoided relegation on the second to last match day. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new around here. That would be hugely appreciated. On Friday, I have got the who I think is underachieving at most in each league, from the Premier League down to Tier 8. And then I've got another history of your club, this one of Blackpool. So thank you very much and goodbye for now.